What is good, you guys? Welcome back to the Heat Report. Welcome back to a brand new video where we talk about all things Miami Heat basketball. Today's video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be recapping the Miami Heat's regular season, 2020 to 2021 regular season. I did want to do this video because it is about that time where we start gearing up to the playoffs. Won't really have that many discussion videos for the playoffs. It's going to be breakdowns of games and what we can do for each series. So before we get into the playoff predictions, which we do have time for because we still have a week break, I do want to recap the regular season and talk about what we learned from the regular season, and also, whether it was a successful regular season or whether it was not. So hopefully you guys are with me throughout this video, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the tier list, man. It was something a little bit different. I wanted to have some fun. I'm a Heat fan, but I also like to have fun. I'm a fan of NBA basketball as well, so I like to consider myself a little bit of a NBA nerd. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the tier list. And shout out to my guy in the comments, Ryan. He did mention that the audio was a little bit messed up. I apologize for that. I was using a different device to record because I was screen recording on my computer, so I was not using the regular device that I have been using for all these videos, but I am back to that, so hopefully the audio is no issue for you guys. So yeah, without further ado, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. If you guys are new, make sure you guys join the community. We are building something pretty nice over here, and you guys are absolutely the best. The growth of the channel has been pretty insane over the past month especially, so shout out to you guys. You guys are the best. So let's get right into it, man. If there was a definition of a roller coaster of a season, the Miami Heat would embody that in a nutshell, man. You've had such an up and down season. Started off 7-14 because of COVID protocols, a lot of injuries, people being in and out of the lineups. We were the 13th seed at one point. A lot of people, one person especially on ESPN who's no longer on there anymore. Not going to call him out because he is a Hall of Famer now apparently, so I don't want to disrespect him because he was a hell of a player, but yeah, one person in particular said the Heat wouldn't make the playoffs. He got sat down as usual. He said some delusional stuff last year too, so yeah, we started off as a 13th seed, then we kind of we kind of picked it up, finished at a 500 record going into the All-Star break. After the All-Star break, we went on a nice run, 22-14 finished the season with that run, especially in this back end. We were, I think, the hottest team at one point after April something. I think there was a date, and after that date we were the hottest team in the NBA, so I think 13-3 or something like that. So we ended up finishing the season with a 40-32 record, which is good enough for 6th in the Eastern Conference. And I think this was I think for where we were with the amount of unlucky COVID protocols, the injuries, every ounce of people being in and out of the lineups, and the amount of times we were shorthanded going into big games, I think the coaching staff deserves a lot of credit to getting us where we are. We could have been in a situation similar to the Celtics where we ended up in the play-in because of the amount of injuries, or even like the Pacers who ended up as a 9 seed because they had players being in and out of the lineup. So the fact that we finished as the 6th seed out of, I think we were the team that was the third most impacted by COVID and injuries, and the fact that we have recovered to this point is a very is a testament to how great the coaching staff is and how great the players were, especially when we came back. I thought the Ariza pickup, which we'll get into, was a big addition for us. At the start of the season, we did have Tyler starting at the guard position. Did not really work out because he was not really in rhythm. When we brought him off the bench, he looked much more comfortable because he was just asked to do one thing, and that was score. There was no playmaking load on Tyler's shoulders. Kendrick Nunn also really fit the starting lineup well, like he did last year, and him and Duncan had a good backcourt tandem. I thought that change was a really big change for us. And yeah, we kind of climbed up. We did miss some opportunities, which I will get into. A lot of disappointing losses that we had this season. The notable ones, let me know, guys, in the comment section if I missed something. I think the notable losses that we had that were kind of disappointing, very disappointing. The Timberwolves loss, really disappointing. Especially, no disrespect to the Timberwolves, but they were one of the worst teams in the NBA without Malik Beasley. Losing to the Warriors, where we kind of had full control of the game in overtime. After that, losing to the Clippers twice without Kawhi and Paul George. Losing to the Hawks without Trae Young and John Collins. A lot of losses. Losing to the Hornets by when we were kind of in control, and then Malik Monk went out for 36, and then the Hornets again, where we almost came back from down 30. A lot of losses. The Pistons, I can go on and on the amount of disappointing losses we had, but it showed us that we can be beat by anyone. But we also had some great wins. We beat the Lakers. We beat the Lakers twice. Granted, they didn't have LeBron and AD, but they didn't have AD for the first one, and they didn't have LeBron and AD for the second one. We still beat a quality opposition. We beat the Celtics twice. We beat the Sixers basically at full strength. We beat a lot of good teams, man. We beat the Bucks without Jimmy in Miami at the beginning of the season. We had a lot of good wins and a lot of bad losses. But I really thought after the trade deadline is where we started picking it up. Trevor Ariza, what a pickup that was. Hats off to the front office for picking up Trevor Ariza. We basically got him for a Warzone streamer and a 7th grader, I think, because 2027, that's a long way away. And I think it's a 2nd round pick. It's not even a 1st round pick. So yeah, the fact that we got Ariza for a 2nd round pick in Myers Leonard was absolutely insane to me. He's fit in like a glove. The Oladipo trade, a lot of Heat fans don't like it now that Oladipo's injured. I don't mind it. Hindsight is 2020. When we made the trade, you couldn't really predict that Oladipo was going to be out for this season and the season after that. Olynyk and Bradley were not really doing much with us. I know Olynyk was not making his shots, his threes. He is still a really good passer, but he just wasn't getting the same amount of shots that he needs in order to be productive. Especially because with him in the starting lineup, our defense is not really that great. Avery Bradley was a good pickup, I thought, in the offseason, but he just wasn't really able to stay healthy, and we kind of had to move him on because he just hasn't played enough. He hadn't played enough games for us whatsoever. Mo Harkless thing didn't work out either. He just really wasn't hitting his shots. He got into a lot of foul trouble. We moved him on, and Chris Silva, who wasn't really getting playing time, for Nemanja Bjelica, who showed his potential last night in Detroit, that he can be a nice backup power forward when Trevor is out of the lineup to space the floor. And I really do think we'll see him in the playoffs. I know he hasn't played a lot in the regular season, but he'll be crucial against the Bucks, especially with his floor spacing ability. I thought he played pretty well in the second half of that game, and I really thought he played his best game in the Heat uniform against the Pistons. The Victor Oladipo trade, like I said, hindsight is 2020. You couldn't really predict that he was going to have this quad injury. We took a risk. It didn't pay off for this season. But if we re-sign him, which I'm not sure we will now that he's projected to be out for majority of next season, if not the whole entirety of the 2021-2022 season. If we get him back, it's a risk worth taking because we won't have to pay that much money for a guy like that, especially because teams are not really going to pay that much for him if he's going to be out for that long. And if we don't get him, it's just cap save that we can use to sign a superstar in free agency like a Kawhi Leonard or whoever's a free agent, John Collins. A lot of these guys that are free agents next year, we're getting Kelly Olynyk's salary off the books, and Avery Bradley's salary off the books, and we won't have Victor Oladipo if we decide not to bring him back. So we have a lot of added cap space for the future. I still cannot get over how good the Ariza pick was. And then lastly, Dwayne Deadman, I thought was the best one of them all. The fact that we got that quality of a backup center this late in the season. His per 36 numbers are absolutely ridiculous. He's averaging 7 points per game and 5 rebounds in limited minutes. He's only playing about 13 minutes per game, and he's doing that. I think that was a really, really nice pickup. I think Dwayne Deadman was low-key probably the best move of the buyout. I know Drummond was cool. Lakers fans are going to say Drummond. I think Dwayne Deadman low-key has been playing better than Drummond in his amount of minutes. Drummond probably has better counting stats, but if you look at the amount of minutes that Dwayne Deadman has played, he's played really, really well. So I love the Dwayne Deadman pickup. And yeah, man, I think the mid-season acquisitions and the players getting back healthy were the catalyst to us, propelling up in the standings. There were some losses that we could have avoided, But I thought as far as how we started off the season, for us to get to the 6th seed when we were 13, it was a really, really big achievement. And remember, guys, Jimmy and Bam were not even all-stars this year. That shows you how much we've climbed up. Players that I'm really, really impressed by this season, I think K Nunn has shown the doubters that his rookie of the year campaign last year was not like a fluke. He didn't win the award, but a lot of people thought he was gonna fall off this year after he did last year. After what he did last year, he's doing really, really well this season. And yeah, man, he's been one of I think behind Jimmy and Bam, he's probably been our most consistent player. I've been really impressed by Duncan. His ability to evolve. Took him a while to get used to players playing him more physically because he's a known name out there now, and he's really, really adjusted to the defenses that has been thrown out at him. So shout out to Duncan for that. And yeah, man, I can go on and on, but those two are the main players behind Jimmy and Bam. Obviously they get their props as well. Jimmy and Bam were absolutely excellent for us, but the others were really important, and I thought in particular Duncan and K Nunn were excellent, absolutely excellent. And then you had the guard tandem off the bench, and Tyler and Goran, who missed time, but during this stretch have been playing some of their best basketball this season. So shout out to them as well. Let's read some of the stats, the team stats that we have coming into the playoff series against the Bucks. The Heat are currently sit at the number 19 3-point shooting team. Let me go to the field goal percentage. Number 14 field goal percentage team, which I think is a good stat. We're in the top half of field goal percentage. I like that. We are 19th in 3-point percentage, which you can say look at 19 and be like, man, that's not even that good. That's almost bottom 10. But considering where we were at the beginning, I'm pretty sure we were like 28th or 29th in 3-point percentage at the beginning. So the fact that we jumped up all the way to 19 shows you how much our shooting has picked up. We're 11th in attempts. We are 5th in 2-point percentage, but we rarely take twos, which is kind of expected, because I think Jimmy and Bam are like the only guys in our starting lineup who take twos. Goran, Tyler mostly take threes as well, so expected. We're almost dead last in rebounding, which is going to be tough if we play a team like the Sixers or whoever we play, man. It's going to be tough, for us to be almost dead last in rebounding. Even like in this Bucks series, Giannis is a guy on the glass who's a presence, and so is Brook Lopez. So we're gonna have to work on our rebounding for this series. We are 9th in assists and 9th in steals. And then most importantly, my favorite stat, we are 6th in defensive field goal percentage, which is absolutely excellent. Elite defensively. We are 15th in 3-point percentage. Most of the people are gonna have to beat us from the 3-point line. We are first in 2-point attempts and 2-point makes. We defend the paint better than anyone in the NBA. We are top 5 in blocks, and top 5 in turnovers. Top 5 in turnovers conceded by the opponent. So they turn the ball over. When they turn the ball over, we're top 5. We ourselves are 17th in turnovers, which is excellent, because we were dead last, I think, coming into the season. We turned the ball over a lot, so we jumped up a lot. So bottom line, we've improved the season, and that's all that you can ask for. It's been a successful regular season. Now it comes to the playoffs. We know that the regular season is cool, but the playoffs is where you make your mark, and this is going to have to be a very, very locked in, concentrated effort on the Milwaukee Bucks, starting with the head of the snake, Giannis, and then making your way all the way down. I think Eric Spoelstra is going to have a big part to play in out-coaching Mike Budenholzer like he did last year. A lot of schemes, a lot of game plans, and then Jimmy Butler, who did not play against any of the Milwaukee games, is going to have to show up. So is Bam Adebayo, and most importantly, the shooting. Tyler, Duncan, Goran, Kendrick, Trevor, all these guys are going to have to show up. Bielitsa, these guys are all going to have to show up, because the Bucks will give up threes. I guarantee you guys, the Bucks will give up threes. So we have to capitalize on the amount of threes we're given. I'll get into more of an in-depth preview of the Bucks series as we get closer to it, but this is kind of like my initial thoughts about it. But overall, this is my initial thoughts about our regular season. Hopefully you guys really enjoyed this video. I wanted to talk about how we battled through a lot of adversity. Shout out to UD for playing this season as well. the man scored 2 buckets, and I cannot get over the fact of him having a per 36 of 48 points and 36 techs or something like that. So shout out to UD as well. And I think that's where we're probably going to end it off. You know, hopefully you guys had enjoy this video. Hopefully you guys had a nice regular season watching the Heat. I know it was a bit up and down. You guys were probably had a lot of tension, a lot of nerves for a lot of these games, especially because of the way we started. Yeah, man, the Heat are a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs. So make sure you guys, you know, keep that same energy that you did in the regular season. You know, always be Heat Nation. And yeah, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and comment down below what your thoughts are on this regular season. I'll see you guys later as always, man. Peace.